Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to turn any textured 3D model into a halftone 3D print. With this technique you can get super smooth gradients using just two colors, while printing way faster than traditional multicolor. We will be using Blender and a custom fork of the Nozzleboss add-on to manipulate the G-code. Before we start, two quick notes. First, you can download my ready-to-use Blender file on Gumroad to support my work. The link is in the description. But I show the entire node setup in the video as well if you want to recreate it yourself. Also, you will need some basic Blender skills, like navigating the viewport to follow along. Okay, let's get started. When you download my assets, you should get this Blender file. It's a base file and should be your starting point for every project. So it would be best to save it first as a different file so we can keep the starting project. First step is to import our 3D model. I also provided this one so you can follow along. It's already scaled up to the right size, but keep in mind Blender world is 1 meter and 3D printing world is 1 millimeter. So when you add other 3D model, it can be very tiny here, and then you need to scale it up by like 100 to keep the same dimension as 3D printing world in Blender. Yeah. So first we need to slice our model. So for that we need an STL. So let's export this one as STL and call it something like, I don't know, spray can. Selection only is important and export. So now we need to slice it. I use Orca Slicer. It doesn't really matter, but I got best results with Orca Slicer. It also doesn't really matter which printer you've set here. I've set for some reason the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max and I have 0.8 millimeter nozzle. Let's go over the settings. This is the most important one. The layer height and the first layer height needs to be the same. So I use 0.6 millimeters because I'm impatient and I don't want to wait forever for these prints. If you can't put in 0.6, then maybe it's capped at some lower number. For that you need to go to the printer settings, into extruder, and then change the max value to, I don't know, 0.6 and save it. Okay. Then you can put in here 0.6. I also made the line width 0.8 everywhere. Seam back, yeah. Walls printing order inner outer is quite important, but not necessary. And this one is very important. We don't want to detect overhangs because it will put the different halves in a different type category and we need the outer wall type category. So uncheck this one. For strength I do 2 wall loops and I use lightning and fill, but doesn't really matter. And yeah, I use a brim. So let's put in our model. Okay. Yeah, don't move it. And because I have the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max picked and my printer is actually the Prusa XL, I put it like here so I don't get outside of the build volume and slice. Okay, perfect. Then we need to export the G-code file. Name doesn't matter. Warnings is okay. Now we can turn these off. To import the sliced G-code we need the Nozzleboss add-on, and specifically we need my fork of the Nozzleboss add-on. I added some functionality we need. Just click on the link in the description. Big shout out to Nozzleboss himself. He actually inspired me to create this workflow, and yeah, he does some really crazy stuff with different 3D printers. And yeah, big thanks to him and show him some love. And then other honorable mention would be Clay Woven. He does some tutorials about Nozzleboss and does some really cool one color printing with custom G-code and his weaving patterns. Download the zip here. I also maybe provide you the add-on in the downloads of my assets. So yeah, to install it, click on Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and then here install from disk and select the zip file. Then make sure it's checked and maybe save preferences, and then there it is. Here you can import your G-code. These settings doesn't really matter for now, and you can subdivide your G-code. For best results, I usually use 0.2 subdivision level, but Blender can get quite slow because it has then super many vertices. So for this tutorial I do 0.4 and import the G-code, then select our G-code we exported from Orca Slicer and import G-code. Now Blender freezes, and depending on the complexity of your model, it can take a while, but yeah, this got quite fast. So now we have our G-code. Let's set it up. Go into edit mode and select the X-ray mode here and select first the prime line and delete it, we don't need it. And let's go into side view, and we want the first layer the same height as all the other layers. So go into point selection and select only the lower vertices. And I know I need to put it down by 0.4 millimeters, so I type in GZ negative 0.4. Yeah, now it's the same height as everything else. Other than that, if you click here and look at it in the vertex groups, we are interested in the outer vertex group. That's the thing I added to Nozzleboss to detect these groups. And if you select it, you see that the first layer also have an outer group, is also in the outer group. So we don't want to displace this one, so we remove it from this group. So select everything into face selection, X-ray mode, and click on outer and click remove. So now it should be removed. If we select now, it shouldn't be. Yeah, okay. Now we can turn on our original spray can. And we need to transfer the UV maps from this model to our G-code. For this we need to place it at the same position. For this, go to side view and press G to grab X for moving only on the X-axis, and yeah, position it on top of the G-code. Yeah, should be fine. Okay. Select our G-code and add a modifier and search for data transfer. And don't select our source object yet, because Blender has always recalculate if you put in something. So first do the settings and then select our source object. We want the vertex group, only the outer vertex group, then face corner data, UVs, and I got best results with nearest face interpolated. For the UVs, we can select our spray can and look at the UVs. We have one UV map for the texture, and on the spray can I have made another UV map what is even and will be used for the weaving pattern displacement. So keep that in mind. If you don't have an even UV map on your model, you maybe could add something like a cylinder, put it over the spray can and do the data transfer first on the spray can from the cylinder and then onto our G-code. But yeah, for this one it's already set up, so we can select our G-code, pick our spray can. Now Blender will freeze for a moment, but that's okay, and generate data layers. Now if we select the G-code, there are these both UV maps from the spray can projected over. So then we can apply the modifier and turn off the spray can. That's it. Now the model is set up. Now we just need to copy the modifiers and the material from this base object to our new object. For this, click on our G-code, then shift click on our base object, so that the base object is with a yellow outline, and press F3 and type in copy modifiers. Click on it. Now something happened. Also press F3 again and click link materials. For the materials we can copy it so we don't destroy the material for this one. Same thing for the geometry nodes modifier, copy it so we have our own settings on this one. Then make sure to select the geometry nodes modifier and go into the geometry nodes tab. Okay, let's go over the settings. Here you can set your texture, that's this one. Then ignore those for now. And most important one is our layer height. Mine is 0.6. Displacement strength, how much the G-code will be displaced. I got best results with 2. Density, how dense the weaving pattern is. And angle, if you want the weaving pattern to be angled. And importantly, the pattern UV map. For now it's UV map, but we've set up the other UV map to be even. So put in the name of this UV map here, 0.001, and the pattern should be even. Yeah, that's it. And now you can get super creative with it. There are different types of halftoning here. This is the classic one, I would say, the dots halftone pattern. But you also can do a 0 at density, and then it's more like a line halftone where it's only displacing the G-code depending on the image and not on the weaving pattern. This is faster than the weaving pattern, but in my testing I didn't get that much contrast. But yeah, it's also cool and fast. And yeah, you also can combine different settings for this. Just add a mix math node and put in different settings here. So maybe if you want to change the displacement strength, then we do here 2 and maybe 10. Put it into displacement strength, and then now we can change it here. This factor can be anything, so it can be a noise texture, for example. Put it here, add our UV map to the noise texture, and maybe increase the contrast a bit so we can see it a bit better. Yeah, same thing can be done if we copy this one. No, not here. Add it here and change the density. So maybe we want to go from 0 to 800. Put it into density. Now it changed from 0 to 800 maybe. And yeah, you can get really cool effects if we change the noise texture. Changes our pattern. Yeah, super cool. And this noise texture can be anything, so you can paint, for example, a mask and put in different settings for different parts of your model. So if you do it maybe here constant, you can do some really cool stuff. Put this one at 5 so we can see. Yeah. These settings here, visualization, visualize value as just the drooping down of the layers. If you put it more, then it droops down more. My layer height is 0.6, so I wanted to droop down like 0.6. This is just for visualization purposes. You can see here if we turn off visualize here, it's just the black and white lines, and we want these lines to overlap a bit to see it a bit better. Yeah, then here's also decimate. Sometimes if you have heavy objects, it can be quite slow to put in some settings here. So for this I have this decimate button. This deletes everything other than our outer wall. And yeah, when we export it, we need to turn these both off. It's very important. For everybody who don't want to buy my add-on, let's have a quick look under the hood. Here we specify the layer height and add it to some named attributes. Then this is the pattern logic. Here we get our image and combine it with our pattern. And yeah, displace it. So it's quite simple, actually. Yeah, so now we can go over the exporting of our model. There are two different methods. I use the Prusa XL, a tool changer, and there it works directly from Blender. I would guess the SnapMaker U1 will work as well, but I'm not that sure. But yeah, for all other printers with an AMS multicolor system, I have a little bit of a workaround. You can skip to this timestamp right here. And yeah, for now I will explain the export for the Prusa XL and maybe the SnapMaker U1. So for this one, we copy our model and turn off this one. And yeah, we need to turn off these both settings. Delete our solidify, we don't need it anymore. And when these both are turned off, we can apply the geometry nodes modifier. Now that's our final G-code. To export, here are my settings. The nozzle size is 0.8, travel speed 100, extrusion speed 30. Here I've set it up that the first layer is always the min and everything else is the max. So I want the flow of my first layer to be a bit lower and everything else also a bit lower than 1, because in my testing it was a bit too much flow. So 0.5 and 0.7. And also I want the speed a bit slower for the first layer. Yeah, then we want to check tool change based on color and make sure to have our T0 code macro here for the white and for the black the T1. Start G code is start and end G code is end. If you want to see these different macros, you go here to scripting, and here you can select the different codes for start. Only very important thing is to put in here our initial layer height. So if you have 0 here at first, the printer will scratch over the print bed. So make sure you put in your layer height here. I'm not sure for the SnapMaker U1. Maybe you have to experiment yourself a bit and maybe ask like ChatGPT if he can change your start and end code. But this works for the Prusa XL. Maybe it works also for the SnapMaker U1, I'm not sure. But yeah, this one is very important. Yeah, if all settings are correct, we can press on export to G-code. Blender freezes a bit. And yeah, it exports to the same folder as your Blender project, and it will have the same name as your Blender project. So maybe rename it to something specific. And yeah, now you can print this one. If you want to check if it's okay, you can open Prusa Slicer and drag it in. It has a good visualizer, and here you can see, yeah, it should work, looks good. Yeah, that's it for tool changer systems. Now I go over the workflow for all other AMS multicolor systems. It's a bit of a workaround, but yeah, it works. So first, as before, copy our model, turn off this one. Make sure to turn off these both values, it's very important. And then you can apply the geometry nodes modifier and delete the solidify. We don't need it anymore. So for all other AMS systems, it's we don't need Nozzleboss to export the G code. We do it differently. We just go to File, Export, and export this one as an STL. We can rename it to something like SprayCan post-process, and make sure to turn on selection only and have this one selected. Then we can export it. Now I show it in Bamboo Studio, but every other slicer should work too. Just drag in our STL. This can take a while. Don't worry, it will import, but it for some reason freezes and takes a while, but yeah, it should work. Yeah, it imported, don't scale it or don't move it, and yeah, let's go over the settings. Only really important one is this here, the same as before. Layer height and initial layer height should be the same and the same as before, and everything else doesn't really matter. To change color now, every other layer we will use a modifier, and for this I prepared a little modifier object and a geometry node system for this. And there you can set your layer height minus 0.6, then maybe turn on your object again, go to front view and do the layer count by eye, doesn't really matter, and do X location, put it at the same location and the same Y location. I think it's okay when it's a bit higher than the actual object, but can do it exact as well. So then we select this object and export it as STL again. Call it modifier, selection only, and export. Then back in Bamboo Studio, go to Objects, right click on your object and add modifier, load, select your object. Now we can specify the material for this modifier, go to change filament, and I use the white one and slice. Now you see it worked, but the colors are the other way around. So for this I just change the first filament to white and the second filament to black and slice again. And yeah, now you have it. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you have fun with this technique. If you run into any issues or have any questions about the setup, just drop a comment down below and I try my best to help you out. If you print something cool with this, please tag me on Instagram. And of course, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to keep up to date. Happy printing, and I'll see you in the next one.